New class, please join us right here. SunnahFollowers presents a wonderful new class to add to your Islamic education. Sins of Disbelief, taught by Ustada Laila Nasheeba, streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers.
Okay, I got that on there. And that's going to be tonight's focus. Okay, everybody can see my screen. So, tonight we're going to speak about the way or the manner in which the angels interact with us here on earth. As I've been emphasizing with you guys all week, the angels are our friends. The angels are our helpers. The angels of mercy, they descend upon the earth night and day, making dua for us. They're rooting for us to succeed in this world. They're rooting for us to come out winners in the hereafter. And the hereafter begins at death. They want you to have a good ending. So they do interact with us, and let's talk about how. Okay. First of all, let's begin by speaking about the relationship that the angels had with Adam, alayhi salam, because Adam, he was the first human being ever created, and he's the father of mankind. And Allah tells us in the Quran, in the interpretation of the meaning, that when he wanted to create Adam, he told his angels about it. And I want you guys to pay attention, because a couple of you had questions about this. When we spoke the other day as to how the angels, they do whatever Allah tells them to do, and they only speak when he tells them to speak. They never ask him why, unless he tells them to ask him why. Remember, I told you guys said, well, didn't the angels ask Allah why he was creating man when the creatures on earth before man destroyed it? And I told you Allah commanded them to ask him that, so he could tell them why. So listen and pay attention and look at the English wording carefully. When Allah wanted to create Adam, he told his angels. He told his angels about it. And he asked them to ask him why. And they did. They asked him, why would he create another creation? And why did they ask that? Because they knew that the sons of Adam would cause corruption and shed blood. Why did they know that? Because Allah told them that. Allah told them that. The angels also knew that this new creation would not only cause corruption on earth, they also knew that this new creation would disobey Allah. And many of them, most of them, will disbelieve in him. How did they know that? Because again, Allah told them that. And he told them that there were reasons as to why he was creating Adam, which they did not know. Listen to what Allah says. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. And remember when your Lord said to the angels, verily, I am going to place mankind on earth. And this is where I tell you, sisters and brothers, the fusha comes in. A lot of the Quran and a lot of the hadiths, of course, when they're translated into English, lose the meaning. That's why here at Sunnah Followers, we're pretty fortunate. We have Dr. Asim, who is a scholar of the Fusha. You also have Sister Samat. Sister Samat, who does, she's Egyptian too, and she does the names of Allah class. She has a degree in English, and she has like an associate's degree in Fusha. She doesn't have like Dr. Asim, a PhD in it, but she's got an associate's in Fusha, and she has a master's in English. And they help us. They help us to understand the meaning of these words, because a lot of the stuff is not written correctly. Now, if you read the Quran, this verse of the Quran, this is Surah Baqarah, the 30th verse. If you read the Fusha, it doesn't translate to mean they said. The Arabic word that's used will say that Allah commanded them to say. Allah commanded them to ask, why would you place those who will make mischief on earth and shed blood while we glorify you and we praise you and we give thanks to you? And Allah answered them and said, because I know that which you don't know. And this is one of the things I was trying to explain yesterday. We have a lot of shabab. What does the Arabic word shabab mean? Young kids, youth, Muslim youth. And when I talk about Muslim youth, I'm talking brothers in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. You're considered youth, as far as I'm concerned. We have a lot of shabab, a lot of young brothers and a lot of young sisters who think they know this religion because their parents made them memorize how to sing the Quran. Just because you memorized how to sing the Quran doesn't mean nothing, because Iblis can sing it better than you. The Prophet Muhammad said you're never going to understand the Quran until you learn my hadiths. And this is what we don't learn today. The shabab, the Muslim youth today, do not learn the hadiths. They don't know the hadiths. The hadiths are the history of this religion. The hadiths are the explanation of the Quran. If you knew the hadiths, you would know that this verse was broken down by Ibn Abbas. May Allah be pleased with him. Ibn Abbas tells us that the Prophet broke this verse down. And this is when the Prophet said the angels don't say a word unless Allah commands them to. The angels don't speak unless Allah commands it. And Allah asked them, he said to them, ask me why I'm creating this creation. Ask me why I'm doing this. And that's when he said why. And it wasn't just the angels. For those of you who don't know, as Ibn Abbas said, Iblis was present too. Iblis was not an angel. He was the jinn. Ibn Abbas says he was the father of the jinn. And he was standing there too. And that's why Allah told the angels to ask him why he was doing what he was doing, because Allah wanted Iblis to know why. Because Iblis was too cowardly to ask him why. For those of you who don't know, this hadith, Ibn Abbas also goes into detail. He says that before Allah created Adam, the jinn lived on the earth. They caused a lot of bloodshed and killing and maiming and murder. The jinn, as Ibn Abbas said, are the descendants of Iblis. And Iblis was angry that Allah was creating a new creation to replace his on earth. And that's why Allah commanded the angels to ask him why, so Iblis could see why. See, you're not going to learn this in the Quran, okay? You're not going to learn this. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in the later days, there will appear amongst you many people who will be able to recite the Quran by heart beautifully, but it will never get past their throats, meaning they will never understand what they're saying, because they will not know my sunnah. They will not know the hadiths. They will not know what I said and did. The prophet said, if you live to see those days, do not be intimidated by these people. Understand that until you learn what I said and what I did, you will never understand the Quran. And these people are part of the Ruwaybidah. They have a lot of mouth. They got a lot of slander, a lot of kalam. That means a lot of talk. Oh yeah, I can use Arabic terms too, but I don't. Why would I use Arabic terms when I'm dealing with non-Arabic speaking people? But I can get like the brothers. I can do like the Dawah bros and throw out all this kalam. But who am I? I ain't impressing nobody. I'm an American Muslim, understand? And I'm giving dawah to American Muslims. Hello. All this kalam, all this talk you brothers got, when you don't even know how to properly take a ghusl. All right? You have to learn these hadiths, brothers, and the sisters too, because we got a few sisters that think that they know it all too, when you don't even know what a menses is. You women need to go sit down and learn what a menses is. Okay? When the people of knowledge are teaching, y'all take notes. When the people of knowledge are teaching and using dalil from the Quran and Sunnah, take notes. You don't sit up in here trying to fight with us. I ain't got time for it. All you do is make us hate you. And hate is a part of faith. Oh yeah, to hate for the sake of Allah is a good thing. We hate everything that Allah hates. And Allah hates ill-mannered people. Allah hates disrespectful people. Allah hates ignorant, low-life people. Allah hates Ruwaybidah. And so does Laila Nasheeba. So all you're doing is making the true people of knowledge your enemy. Keep on sucking up to the Sufis. All right, so take notes. So that's how we know, because that was what one of the brothers asked me. How do you know that? First of all, learn Fusha, brother. Because if you understood Fusha and read it in Arabic, you would know it. Okay? And also learn the hadiths, because the hadiths are the explanation. And Ibn Abbas went into great detail about this one verse right here. Because Iblis was angry. So the angels, they don't speak a word unless Allah tells them to. He told them to ask him why. All right? And that's when Iblis began his hatred towards us at that moment. Okay, so the angels and Iblis, they all stood by and they watched as Allah created Adam from the clay that the angel of death had brought to him from the different parts of the earth. The red, the brown, the black, the yellow, the orange, the white, the pink clay, which is why we all are of different colors. This is still Ibn Abbas talking. That's why we are all of different colors. All right. And after Allah created, molded Adam, and let him sit for a while. And again, the angel stood by watching this, along with Iblis, the father of the jinn. Okay? Then Allah had the soul, Adam's soul, breathed into him. And once Allah had the soul placed inside Adam's clay body, that's when Adam came to life. And that's why I gave you guys the answer. Somebody asked the question, Sister Laila, what happens to the soul when you die? The soul leaves your body. Whenever your soul leaves your body, that's when you're dead. As long as the soul is in your body, you're still alive. Okay? But once the soul is gone, that's it. You're just a shell. You're back to that shell that you were when Allah created Adam before he breathed, his soul breathed into him. Okay? And after Allah had the soul breathed into Adam, that's when Allah faced the angels and Iblis, because he was present. And Allah commanded all of them to prostrate to Adam. Why? To signify that this new creation is of a higher status than all of them. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Remember when your Lord said to the angels, I'm going to create man from clay. So after I have fashioned him, and in Sister Samaz's class this past weekend, she talked about the name, the fashioner. That's one of Allah's names. And but by her having a master's degree in English, and also associates in Fusha, she broke down the meaning of fashioner. She told us, you know how your eyebrows are perfected just right. Our eyelashes are lined on our eyes just right. That's what it means to fashion. Okay? So Allah didn't only create Adam from clay. He fashioned him. He perfected us all. And like Sister Samat said, that's why you cannot remove your eyebrows, because Allah fashioned them. Allah made each and every one of our eyebrows a certain way. So if you change them, you're basically saying that Allah fashioned you in a bad way. You're changing what He created you to have, what He created you to be. For those of you who weren't here for her class on Saturday, you better listen to the recording. We have a lot of people here at SunnahFollowers teaching you. You guys need to take advantage of it and get off of the internet, because these dawah brothers on the internet, they're nothing except dawah brothers. They're not people of knowledge. They don't even have respect for another Muslim woman, especially one old enough to be their great-grandmother. All right? So Allah says, I'm going to create man from clay, and after I fashion him and breathe into him the soul created by me, then I want you to prostrate. And he wasn't just speaking to the angels. He was speaking to Iblis too, who was allowed to live amongst them. As Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, breaks down. And who is Ibn Abbas? Let me talk about him for a minute for the new Shahadas. Ibn Abbas was one of the original companions. He was the cousin, a first cousin to the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet Muhammad loved him so much that the Prophet Muhammad made dua asking Allah to not just give him understanding of the Quran. Because he made that dua for Ibn Masud too. He also made it for Ibn Umar too. He said, but give Ibn Abbas a deep understanding of the Quran. So Ibn Abbas's understanding of the Quran is deeper than Ibn Masud's. It's deeper than Ibn Umar's. And that's why you have to learn the hierarchy of the companions. Who out-trumps who? Ibn Abbas out-trumps Ibn Masud because he has a deeper understanding of the Quran. All right? So Ibn Abbas explains all these verses to us. And you can find his explanations in Bukhari, in Muslim, Muwatta, and others. It ain't my job to show you where to find them. If you are a person of knowledge, that means you on my level. And if you on my level, that means you should know where to go look for them at. Okay? If you don't, then shut up. You ain't qualified to speak to me. All right? So Ibn Abbas explains all of this. All right? And Allah goes on to tell us. So after he commanded them to prostrate, the angels prostrated before Adam. All of them did, except Iblis. And Allah tells us the reason why Iblis did not prostrate is because, number one, he's not an angel. The angels are not capable of disobeying Allah. Iblis was not an angel. He was not a fallen angel. There's no such thing as that in Islam. Instead, he was one of the shayateen. That's the Arabic word used. Oh yeah, I know Arabic. Fusha, a little bit. Not as well as my brothers, but I'm on that level. I know what I need to know. He was one of the shayateen, one of the disbelieving ones. Okay? He was arrogant, proud. So he refused to prostrate. All right? And again, so that shows right there from the conception, from the moment that Allah fashioned Adam, breathed his soul into him, where the enmity began. The angels did what Allah commanded. They recognized that we humans are of a higher status than they are. Why? Because we were created to worship Allah, to choose to worship him. Whereas the angels were created to do nothing but worship him. The fact that we choose Allah makes us higher than someone who was just created to do that. That's why I tell you, brothers, stop beating up your wives by telling them that the El-Hureen are not of a higher status than any woman on this earth. The women of this world are of a higher status. Allah says that the women of this world will be living in palaces and mansions. The El-Hureen will be in tents. They were created to worship Allah, whereas we, women from this world, chose to worship him. We're higher than they are. And you, sisters, stop being stupid. Stop allowing your husbands to play that game with you. Your husband's ignorant and so are you. Stop that. That's not Islam. That's not marriage. The Prophet didn't throw around the urine. Well, he knew not to because his wives were intelligent. He taught them that the women of this world are of a higher status. So what are you jealous of? Jealous of no hureen? They're jealous of us. The Prophet said they're jealous of us, sisters. So the relationship was bad from the beginning between Iblis and us. And the relationship was one of understanding and goodwill from the beginning between us and the angels. And also to let you guys know, I tell you guys all the time, nothing in this world resembles anything in the paradise. Even Adam. When Adam alayhi salam was created, he was 60 cubits tall. We are not 60 cubits tall. If you make it to paradise, you will go back to being 60 cubits tall. But that's just one example as to how nothing in this world resembles anything in the hereafter, even though you may be the same person. Listen to what Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, said. The Prophet said Allah created Adam in his image and he was 6 cubits tall. Now, what does that mean when we say in his image? A lot of non-Arabic speaking people, let me put it this way, a lot of non-Fusha understanding people misread this hadith too. Once again, who do we have? Whose understanding do we use? We use the understanding of the original companions. And again, one of the best was Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas said, when the Prophet said that Allah created Adam in his image, he said, this does not mean what the Christians infer. This does not mean that we look like Allah. Ibn Abbas said, when the Prophet said that Allah created Adam in his image, what the Prophet meant was Allah created us to look the way he wanted us to look, the way he imagined us to be. You are as Allah wanted you to be. I am as Allah wanted me to be. And again, in that same hadith, Ibn Abbas says that's why you cannot change the nature of Allah. Like removing the eyebrows, adding a horn to yourself. Allah did not imagine or want a human being to have a horn in his head. So if you were to put a horn in your head, on your head, you're imitating something else. You're changing the creation of Allah. Again, these are all the hadiths. And I want you young brothers to pay attention to this old woman. Like I told y'all, looks are deceiving. I look 20, I look 30, I look 40. I ain't none of that. I ain't even 50. I ain't even 60. I'm over 60 years old, brothers. Learn to listen and learn from the elderly people because we got more wisdom than you have. What does the word sheikh mean? What does the word sheikha mean? It doesn't mean scholar. It means old wise man or old wise woman. That's why I'm not afraid of my age. In Islam, Allah teaches us that with age is supposed to come wisdom. So sheikh or sheikha, these are terms of respect. They don't mean that you're a scholar. They mean that these are terms of respect that we give to the older people because with age is supposed to come wisdom in Islam. Learn from this old woman who looks 20, but she ain't. And that too is a blessing from Allah. That's the light that the Prophet speaks about that's on the face of those who truly believe. Allah keeps them youthful in their appearance, brothers. And you need to lower your gaze It ain't haram for a woman to show her face. The prophet's wives showed theirs. But what is haram is for you to look at me. So that's why you got the PowerPoint here. I'm a daya. I spent my whole life teaching Islam for over 50 years. I sacrificed having husbands. I sacrificed children because I put Allah first. I earned this. And when I teach, I use PowerPoint so you can see I don't make it up. So get your eyes off of Layla's face. You ain't qualified to look at me. You're beneath me. Lower your gaze and look at that PowerPoint. All right, you guys got that? And it's a shame how nowadays in 2025, we have to get rough and tough. You know, a lot of people, you know, if you're nice with the people on the internet, you know, they walk over you. The only thing that these brothers, that you young shabab understand is roughness and toughness. Because you have no respect for women. Well, this is one woman that ain't gonna allow no loser on this planet to walk on her. I'm old school. All right. Fat May, are y'all doing what y'all supposed to do? All right. Okay, let's take a look at this. So, Allah goes on to tell us about Adam. Precious, are you here? Precious?
We muted her. It came back on, and then we have to mute again.
Who was it?
Anissa.
If it happens again, kick her out. Put her in the waiting room. I don't care if it's Jesus Christ Superstar. If their television comes back on, kick them out of here. Because I don't have time for shaitan, and y'all got to turn them TVs off when I'm teaching a class. You can watch the news some other time. Okay, so if they come back on again, time them out in the waiting room. Layla ain't playing today, not with her these women either. All right, so let's continue on. After Allah created Adam, what's the first thing that Allah did? And how many of you Muslims know this hadith? You'll find this beautiful hadith. It's explained by Ibn Abbas, just like all the others. All of the explanations are in Bukhari. After Allah created Adam, alayhi salam, he told Adam, he said, go and greet them. And he pointed to, and it was a group of angels sitting. Allah said, go and greet them, that group of angels. And I want you, Adam, to listen to how they respond to your greeting, because their response to your greeting will become the greeting of you and your descendants. This hadith is in Bukhari. Of course, it's explained by Ibn Abbas too. So Adam alayhi salam, his soul newly created in him, he went over to that group of angels that were sitting, and he said, Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be upon you. And they responded back to him. They said, and peace be upon you, along with the mercy of Allah. So they added the words, along with the mercy of Allah, to their response. And that's where our greeting comes from today as Muslims. That's why when you brothers and sisters are out and about and you see another Muslim and they give you salams and you refuse to greet them, subhanallah, this is a big thing, because our greeting of assalamu alaikum and wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi, it comes from the angels of paradise. That's the way they responded to Adam alayhi salam. So here you can see what's the purpose of me putting this hadith here. It again shows you the interaction that the angels have with us today. The first things the angel said to Adam was, may the peace and mercy of Allah be upon you. And that's what the angels do today. The angels make dua for us. They're always wishing peace for us. They're always wishing the mercy of Allah upon us, not the jinn. We get it twisted. Not the jinn. Okay? The believing jinn don't come near us. The believing jinn don't come around us. Because Allah, and I'm going to talk about that later, Allah commanded the jinn to stay away from us. After Allah put Adam and his wife Eve on planet Earth, Allah commanded the jinn to stay away from them, because the temptation to hurt us is too great. The believing jinn, they said, oh Allah, we hear you. Oh Allah, we obey you. And they stayed away from Adam and Eve and their descendants. But the followers of Iblis, because he was cast here too, they are the shayateen. They are the unbelievers. They're the ones that come around trying to create fitna, not the angels. The angels are not the enemies to us. The angels, they make dua for us. They want the best for us. And our greeting of assalamu alaikum is a dua. So, from the beginning of our creation up until now, the angels make dua for us. They ask Allah to shower his mercy upon us. And then to show how else they play a role in our life. Adam and his wife lived here on earth. They had children and etc. When the time for death came to Adam and he died, his children did not know what to do with his body. So who was it that taught Adam's children what to do? It was the angels. So here we see again, what role do the angels have in our lives? They're the ones that bring the knowledge from Allah to us. They bring Allah's knowledge to us. I repeat, they bring Allah's knowledge to us. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. And again, brothers, get your eyes off my young looking face, because you ain't qualified. You got to out top old man, and ain't none of you out topping old man. So go sit down. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when Adam died, the angels washed his body with water an odd number of times, and then they buried him in a grave with a niche, and they said, this is the way for you, the sons of Adam. So here we can see, guys, this is another way they interact with us. And let me explain this. Just like the angels brought the knowledge of how to bury Adam, where do y'all think the knowledge of the cure for sickness comes from? Allah tells us in the Quran that sickness comes from him, but he never sends a sickness without sending a treatment. So take the treatment and maybe he'll send the cure. Allah tells the angels to go to that human being down there named whatever, Abdul. Whisper to the angel assigned to his heart how to treat a heart attack. And Allah sends his knowledge to whoever he wants. It doesn't have to be a Muslim. Allah sends knowledge to the non-Muslims too. So that's how we have the treatment for diseases. An angel came down and told the angel assigned, for example, the first open heart surgery ever performed was performed by the ancient Egyptians. This is a fact. The ancient Egyptians were not believers in Allah. They worshiped idols. They worshiped many gods. But when their pharaoh became sick, Allah sent the angels to their physicians, and those angels whispered to the angels assigned to those physicians' hearts to cut open his chest, take out his heart, and do whatever they do to perform heart surgery. So Allah's not, if you think that Allah only sends knowledge to the Muslims, he doesn't. He sends it to whomever he wants. Just like COVID. COVID is an infectious disease. It came from Allah. When then Allah decided, I'm going to send the treatment. So Allah told the angel Jibril, I want you to have some angels go down to earth, to the CDC or wherever it is, and whisper to the angel who's in the hearts of those men and women what to do to treat COVID. And the angels obey Allah, and that's how we got the treatment for COVID. There's no cure for COVID yet. Dr. Asim is part of a team of doctors who's trying to find a cure. Just to let y'all know, that's one reason why Dr. Asim's not here doing his classes. Dr. Asim is a scientist, and he's working with a team of doctors, and not all of those doctors are Muslims. They're from all over the world. They're non-Muslims from all over. They're working hard right now to come up with a cure for COVID. But Allah sent the treatment for it. They know how to treat COVID now. That knowledge came from Allah. Just like leprosy. Leprosy used to be a disease that people died from. But Allah sent the knowledge to man. You know, the angels came down and whispered into the heart of whoever it was that developed the treatment for leprosy. And that's why we don't have that problem anymore. Polio. Polio used to be another disease that people died from. Allah told the angels, go down there and give them knowledge of the treatment for polio. So I want y'all to pay attention. And this is important, because a lot of you Muslims do not believe in medicine. Medicine comes from Allah. He says it in the Quran. I never sent a sickness without the treatment. Take the treatment. Allah has sent us the treatment, the knowledge of the treatment for cancer. You got cancer? Take your radiation treatments. That knowledge came from Allah. We got to learn our deen and stop being superstitious and pessimistic and thinking that people out to get us. The only one out to get you is yourself. Your biggest enemy as a Muslim is yourself, guys. Don't y'all know that? The Prophet Muhammad said, our enemies. What's the source? Sahih Muslim. Allah promised that our enemies will never destroy us. We will never be destroyed by our enemies. We'll be destroyed by ourselves. So you Muslims listening to me, stop thinking that everything is a conspiracy. Your greatest enemy is yourself. Also, how did the companions know what to do when a person died in a battle? We have this hadith. The angels washed a martyr. In fact, it was Amir. Amir who was killed during the battle of Uhud. My cousin Mukhtar did his story for you guys. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions the angels are washing him. And that's how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew what to do. If a person dies during a battle, to just bury them as they are, because the angels take care of them from there. So again, after Allah created Adam, the first interaction was the angels making dua for him, wishing Allah's mercy upon him. And whenever Allah wants us to know something, he wants us to have knowledge of the cure for polio, knowledge of the cure for tuberculosis. What is the treatment for COVID? How do we treat the flu? How do we treat BS, whatever that stuff is? The Allah sends the angels to whoever Allah wants to be the one to know how to treat it. Y'all understand that? All right. And by the way, this is the dalil, the source of that hadith I just gave. Take a screenshot. Okay, that's Hanzala. Hanzala ibn Abu Amir. All right. So our connection as human beings with the angels is very strong, guys. It's very strong. Not our connection with the jinn. Your connection with the jinn is only strong if you make it that way. And how do you invite the jinn? You invite the jinn into your life when you disobey Allah, when you do things you shouldn't do. If you're surrounding yourself with bad, corrupt people and living in bad environments. But for the angels, our connection is very strong. For example, every human being has angels assigned to the front of us. We also have angels assigned to the back of us. And what do? They protect us against anything that's not meant to happen. How many of you are sitting here listening to me? Then all of a sudden, something tells you to turn around, and you turn around and see a spider getting ready to crawl on your finger. Had you not turned around, that spider would have crawled on you. It was the angels assigned to the back of you that told you to turn around. We get these feelings to look up, and you look up just in time to see something about to fall on you. So you move out the way and it missed you. That wasn't luck. Those were the angels telling you to turn around and look up and see what's happening. And also we have angels that bring revelations from Allah. Those were the angels like Jibreel that were sent to the prophets of Allah. There are no more prophets. I want everyone to understand that. No human being on this planet today is receiving any revelations from Allah because there are no more prophets. But we do have angels assigned to the front of us, angels assigned to the back of us to protect us. When you were created in your mother's womb, you have angels that are assigned to the womb of the pregnant woman to protect her baby. There's also angels that are assigned to blow your soul into the fetus when you are a fetus. Listen to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. He said, when a woman becomes pregnant, after 42 nights are passed, Allah will send an angel to the embryo. And that angel is the one that shapes the embryo. That angel is the one that forms the hearing, the flesh, the eyes, and the bones of the embryo, turns it into a baby, a fetus. And then after it's turned into a fetus, the angel asks Allah, it says, oh Allah, should I make it a boy or a girl? And then Allah will tell it, make it a boy or make it a girl. And then as the fetus is formed, that's when that angel of the womb will write down everything about that person, how that person will live its life, how that person will die, whether that person will be in paradise or that person will grow up to be in hell. Listen to the Prophet and all of these hadiths. Most all the hadiths I use with you guys are Bukhari, because I'm a person that knows how to cover myself. Like I say, it's kind of hard for you brothers to take puck shots at me because I stick with that which is most authentic. You'd have to be a fool to come take a puck shot at me. But anyway, a lot of fools out there. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah, here's my dalil, Allah has appointed an angel over the womb. And that angel says, oh Allah, an embryo. Oh Allah, now it's a clot. Oh Allah, now it's a piece of flesh. And when Allah wants to decree his creation, he says, oh Allah, should I make it a male or a female? Should I write down that this person will grow up to be a blessed person? Or will this person grow up to be of hell? How much will this person make? How will he earn his living? How long will he live? All of that is written down about you. Your entire life history is written down while you are still in the womb of your mother. All right? And again, Allah tells us in the interpretation of meaning, it is the same to him, whether any of you hide your words or declare your words openly, whether you be hid by night or go forth freely by day, because each person has angels in front of him. Here's my dalil. When I said that all of us have angels assigned to the front and back, here's my dalil from the Quran. For each person, there are angels in front and angels behind him, and they guard you by the command of your Lord. Now I'm giving you my dalil. And again, Ibn Abbas, I use the tafsir of the Prophet and his companions, known as the hadiths. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, said, the angels in succession refers to the angels whom Allah has appointed to guard a person from the front and from behind. And then if Allah decrees for death to come, that's when they leave you. So the angels that are assigned to us, they stay with us, guys, until we die. When they die, then they leave. Here's another companion, Mujahid. Mujahid, may Allah be pleased with him, said, there is no person who does not have an angel appointed to protect him when he is asleep and when he is awake. And that angel protects you from the jinn, from men, and from animals. None of these things will come to you without the angels telling it to stay away, unless Allah has given that person or that thing permission to harm you. There's my dalil for the other statement I made. Also, another hadith, a man came to Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, and he said, guess what? There's a group of men from Murad who want to kill you. They want to assassinate you. Ali said, I'm not worried. He said, because every man has angels guarding him from what has not been decreed from him. When Allah's decree of death comes, they leave. Your fixed lifespan is decreed by Allah. What happened was, and we're going to talk about this when Mukhtar does the caliphate of Ali, okay? They wanted Ali to not go to to answer the call of nature. They didn't have bathrooms. For the idiots on Instagram, they didn't have bathrooms. The Arabs didn't have bathrooms in the 6th century. They used to defecate and urinate outside in a trench. That's why there's nothing wrong with praying in a bathroom. We can pray in a bathroom. Okay? And Ali wanted to go out to the trench to answer the call of nature. And his guard told him, we don't want you to go unless you take some soldiers with you, because there's people that want to kill you. And that's when Ali said, I don't need any soldiers. Allah has angels assigned to the front and to the back to guard us and protect us from what's not meant for us. Allah also speaks about these angels in the Quran. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. He is the irresistible, talking about Allah. Allah is the supreme over his servants, and Allah sends angels over you until death comes to you. When death comes to you, our angels take your soul, and the guardians sent to protect over you leave you when death comes. Everything I say, guys, I back it up. I'm always giving y'all the dalil. I don't make this stuff up. So